All right. Welcome to Off the Rails podcast. You would normally see Tom at this moment. He is out sick, so I am going to take over the bad joke monologue. So here we go with some bad jokes. Give me some.
Yeah.
Okay. Woke up this morning with a moose head in my bed. Damn those Canadians and their delicious beer. You got to bear with me. I got shit-faced last night, but that's a whole little plumbing incident I don't care to discuss. So here we are. About a year in, I am still going to work every day. I'm essential. And there have been very few people there. I work so others can work from home. And I got to tell you, I want to see people get vaccinated, but I'm not looking forward to having them come back to work. It's been the best year of my life. In the 27 years I've been there, the parking places are plentiful. The bathrooms are clean. The break rooms are empty. It's just been great. I'm not looking forward to them coming back because, frankly, my boss, I haven't seen him for a year. He's been in another location, not looking over my shoulder, not writing me up for saying something inappropriate. Last time I got written up because I said nice tits to a coworker. But like I said to the boss, that is not sexual harassment because I said it sarcastically to a male coworker who's wearing a white dress shirt without anything on underneath it. I think I can speak for all of us when I say don't need to see your dark, hairy nipples in the workplace. Cover that shit up. I celebrated my 25 years, and I thought, look, I thought I'd make a big deal about it. A friend of mine celebrated 25 years at his job, and he got a choice between a grandfather clock and a Rolex watch. I got a choice between a jelly-filled and a glazed donut. And it wasn't even from a bakery. It was from a grocery store. Get a freaking grocery store donut. Like, that's it, man. And so I'm glad not having these people around because I don't get along with a lot of my coworkers. They talk too much. I know too much information about them that's personal that I shouldn't know. Like, I know when some of my female coworkers went to lunch, they got waxed. They came back giggling. They got waxed. I don't want to know that. I should know that you had waxed your vaginal area. I don't want to know that information. But a couple days later, they were complaining. Ooh, turn up the heat. Turn down the air condition. Like, you're cold because you got no hair on your vagina. God put that there for a reason, to keep you warm. That's why it's called the muff. You don't have to suffer because you shave your T-la-la. I got to go and see human resources. So that's the kind of thing I don't want to get into. So anyway, welcome. We have Adam Gabel is our guest this week. He's a wonderful comic from Brooklyn. I love this guy. I've known him for a few years, and we will be right back. And we're back.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hello, everybody. I see you dressed.
It's an homage.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I was going to spend the first 20 minutes telling you about how I had my vagina shaved. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about now. If you don't want to hear about that.
That's awesome. So how you like the hats, man?
They're good. We can go into why. Molly's wearing the right one, but everybody else, they're not quite right. But I appreciate it. They're all yours. All right, okay. I'm very proud of man. I go for a 6 panel. That's my thing. When you're particular about your hats, I'm more concerned about how my hats are constructed than my jokes. So
I don't normally like the way hats look on me, but
that's a keeper.
Kind of cute.
You can't really look bad in a hat like this. That's why you see them all the time, because nobody looks bad in them.
Yeah.
Since I'm not wearing it right, it's off.
Adam, I'm originally from Brooklyn. I don't know if you know that.
I think we talked about that once. Yeah.
And when I was a kid and we would get in a cab, the cab driver was you. The same look, the same voice. Hey, where to, Mac? And when I saw you and I met you, it just kind of reminded me of like when I was a little kid living in Brooklyn. And yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I get a lot of people tell me that I sort of fit into this stereotypical Brooklyn guy thing, which I think kind of works for me. I mean, obviously the hat is not. I mean, the hat's not part of my head. I made a conscious choice to put this up, to wear a hat like this because I think it makes me look good. But you know, it evokes sort of an antiquated kind of idea that I think works for me well.
I kind of feel like we're talking to the Beastie Boys today.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. A lot of people, you know, I've always referred to as ad rock. It sort of fits. But for the record, MCA went to the same high school as I did.
There you
Nice.
go.
Well, I'm more of an Adam Yauch guy than an Adam Horowitz guy.
and Adam nonetheless.
Yes.
And Adam nonetheless.
Says hi, Adam Gabel.
Yeah, Stephanie, I know from West Virginia. It's cool. I'm hoping that I get to see. I'll be back in West Virginia later in the year. So don't judge my muff. I'll tell you
This
that.
is Tom, off the rails, where we don't judge your mom.
Where we don't, yeah, don't judge my muff. I thought there was a muff judging contest at the end of this.
Tom is messaging with his arms wrapped around the toilet right now.
Probably.
Okay. Well, don't drop the phone in the toilet, Tom. Especially if you've already thrown up into the toilet.
I've had that where I've actually passed out with my head in the toilet. And when I came to, I didn't know where I was. I don't know how long I was out. It was a bad one. And I think I just ran out of, well, I'll tell you what happened. I smoked a joint and then I drank a full bottle of red wine. And I was feeling okay for a minute. And then all of a sudden, I just broke into this sweat, like, just like drenched. And I'm like, I'm going to be sick. And and I was sick. And like I said, I passed out and woke up and I'm puking.
This was right before we went live.
This was years ago. I learned my lesson. You don't mix red wine and weed. Trust me, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a public service announcement. Don't mix red wine. What was the one I gave last week?
The taint.
Oh, the taint. Did you catch that last week, my public service announcement?
No, I didn't catch that public service announcement about a taint last week.
Yeah, we were talking about Tony Romo's
wet spot on the Super Bowl from a little leakage. And I said, I found when you're taking a leak, if you push up on the taint, when you're done, it'll get rid of that residual and you won't have it. And if people have been doing it and say it works, yeah, I know, I've been doing it for years.
And you wanted to keep it secret.
It was my own little secret, but now I'm sharing it. So if you ever have that trouble,
I can't do that because when I press on my taint, my garage door opens.
You had that installed.
But maybe I need to shake my garage door opener and then I won't sprinkle all over the toilet.
He's fancy. He's got a garage door opener. Okay,
to be clear, I live in a garage, so that's my front door. It's not like I don't have a car.
Did we introduce you? We got Adam Gabel, Brooklyn comic, funny guy.
Thanks. I think Will said my name at the beginning.
In his monologue.
I got to tell you how Tom erased your name on the board because we have a board of our guests.
Oh yeah.
And I wrote your name as it's spelled, and then he erased it and wrote gay and then Bell.
Well, you can tell Tom, and I know he's listening. When I was in third grade, Chris Price called me a dumb gay bull. So you're about half as smart as an 8-year-old. If you got the second part.
It's not original, Tom.
It's unoriginal.
And a couple decades late.
He's heard it. But you guys, we got something we do at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we're welcoming you, and we would like to place you on the hot seat.
Okay, that's good.
It's the hot seat! Wow, yeah! It's the hot seat! Hot seat! Off the rails!
Hey, great
All right.
production, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, since Tom's not here, and he's,
Molly's
I have a
gonna
headache, and the
hot seat.
cab driver voice doesn't help. Oh, sorry, Tom.
Turn it off. I didn't invite him to watch.
You should
talking trash.
definitely
You should.
tell him about his monologue. He's here. He's talking shit. He
I
can.
want to hear Coldwell Banker. I want to hear about Coldwell Banker. Please tell me about Coldwell Banker.
Yeah, Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realties. Call Roy at cbhsr.com. Great guy. He'll help you
got a
out.
phone number.
I do not have the phone number memorized, and it's on the board up behind our stuff. So
Blinded.
sorry.
Blinded.
I'm unprepared.
But yeah,
hot
call Roy.
seat. Here's my first question: is cereal soup? Why or why not?
No. I mean, it's not the same thing at all. I mean, soup is hot. I mean, I guess gazpacho is cold, but I've never heard of gazpachios. That would be a cereal. if it was-
Gazpacho, that's great.
What
So
about
to me, it's not the same thing at all.
what about a cereal like malto meal?
That's
That's
like
hot.
That's like an oatmeal, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the temperature isn't.
Grits.
So it's not soup. I think you're right. You
It's
probably
not soup.
chew cereal more than you chew.
I would
soup.
definitely not call it soup.
Yeah, but if you got a thick gumbo or a big chicken noodle, you're going to chew a lot on that. So
No, but
maybe
it's
there's
not-
some.
I mean, it's
not
similar to
breakfast
the
food.
is a hot dog a sandwich debate. What makes a sandwich?
I don't think so. And then, like when they do that Whopper commercial, and she goes, "Oh, 2 Whopper sandwiches? What? Those are burgers. What do you call them sandwiches for?"
Yeah, but look,
It annoys the hell
but
out of me.
in Sheboygan, you got the Sheboygan brat, which is basically 2 brats between bread, basically. So that
Well,
is a sandwich.
A hot dog is different because a hot dog is one piece of bread that's cut down the middle. So that I put the hot dog to the side, right? To me, cereal has to be made out of some kind of wheat in order for it to be cereal, right?
Or
It's a
corn.
grain, or corn, right? But it's more of a grain, whereas soup is more of a vegetable protein kind of thing. So that's where I'm going to go with it.
These are
I
good
think.
qualifications.
That's a smart answer.
Tom says it's breakfast soup. He's just being difficult.
Oh, God, did Tom come up with this? Tom's talking a lot of shit for a sick
It seems like Tom just is looking for a reason to drink soda with breakfast, right? He should go to
Right.
McDonald's if he wants to do that.
He does what he wants.
A Mountain Dew.
Here's another one. Let's see. Well, what is the sexiest and least sexy name? You have to think of a name.
I'm pretty sure the least sexy name is Adam because it really hasn't worked very well for me.
Come on, man. It's the first man. Of course.
Come on, it wouldn't be like
Are you
Stu.
kidding me?
The only reason Adam, the first man, got laid was because he was the only option, right? If there was another guy around, Eve would have been like, Chet, that's the guy I want. Chet. I mean, Chet's the guy you want to fuck, right? Adam's the guy who does your taxes, right? Isn't that what-
And drives your cab.
and drives your cab. Well, I mean,
a sexy name, I think, for a woman, Naomi. I like that.
Oh,
That's
a
sexy.
good one.
Unsexy name for a guy. I knew a guy. He went by Ice because I don't think he wanted people to know his real name. And then we were in the army together, and I had to write up a roster, and I went and I needed to know his real name, and it was Felf.
Felf?
P-H-E-L-P-H. Felf. I laughed in his face. I'm like, "Are you serious? No wonder they call you Ice, man." Felf.
What is the origin of that? What
He was
what's
the
the
second.
nationality?
His dad, he was a brother. His dad, he was the second one. His dad was Felf 1. He was Felf 2.
That's an interest. I've never heard that name.
Felf.
Hmm.
Oh, I also knew a guy I went to high school with. His name was Premium.
Tom says Roxanne is sexy.
Roxanne is sexy.
Right.
I think Roxanne is sexy, but I think Roxanne is sexy because of what we associate it with, like the movie Roxanne and the song Roxanne. I'm not sure that that's a sexy name in and of itself.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing.
Very strippery.
Yeah,
Well,
No, I agree. I think it's probably association with the song and everything.
yeah. I think-
what do you think is a sexy name there, Adam? Or a
I
lady?
don't. I don't
Better say
really.
your wife's name.
well, my
She
ex.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I mean, I was always my ex-wife's name was Christine, and her mother always called her Chris, and to me, I always like had like a negative connotation with that. So I always call her. I mean, to me, a name's not really a name is definitely unsexy. Like the name Rhea is not sexy. If there was, if I'm looking at it, I mean, if I meet some woman that I think is gorgeous, and I find out what her name is, and she says to me that her name is Rhea, I'm probably going to ask her if I can call her something else, right? Let's get that out of the way early on so you don't think that I'm...
You accept her. It's not her fault that her name is Rhea.
Well, maybe it is her fault. Maybe her real name is Felth and she chose Rhea.
She's trying to upgrade.
I mean, I just want to put Daya in front of it.
You want to change her already? You just met her. You already want to call her by something else? Ask her what she likes to be called.
He's just
right.
He's just down the road.
No, you know what? You're probably right. I would say, what do you like to be called?
Just go, ew. Do you have a nickname?
You're right. I mean, that's fairly disrespectful. It's
right.
I'm only a misogynist hypothetically, though. In real life, I'm a stand-up guy, but I make up a lot of terrible situations that I might do. Let's just
I do as well.
But what's the weirdest smell you've ever smelled?
It's probably when I lit my nose hair on fire, right? That's probably the worst thing ever. When I like started smoking at the age of 18 months. No,
that explains the voice.
When I started, no, probably that. I mean, only because it's so strong, right? I mean, to me, that's probably what it is.
It just kind of, there's no getting rid of it. It's just there.
The smell of burning hair is awful, and it's inside your nose.
Exactly. It's really, that's probably the worst thing I ever
had. Mike's giving you crap, Tom. Roxanne sounds like Roseanne. Definitely not sexy. Go drink your soda.
I actually had a show once where this girl like threw her head back to laugh at a joke, and her hair went into the candle in the table behind her. Oh, wow. And her hair like lit up on fire. Oh, wow. And they were in like the second row. So I could see them. It didn't like burst in. There was like a flame.
Okay.
And they were in like the second row, so I could see, but not like I could see something was going on. And the guy is slapping her on the back. I thought they were really having a good time. Like, well, I just kept going, and then the whole room started to smell like hair, and that's when I realized what happened. And then I had to stop and talk to her, and then the set just went to hell from there.
How could you be so fucking funny, man? People throwing their head back and laughing. That's great.
I mean, I think it was a case of somebody who was enjoying themselves perhaps a little bit more than was appropriate for the particular situation. We've all been in front of those audiences. I'm like, all right, it's not that funny. So now it's condescending. Now I feel like you're my aunt. Just laugh real.
Pre-gaming before they come in, right, exactly. Obviously. I mean, you see some of the time, like the early shows, and they're walking out and they're falling on their face. It's like 8:30. Why were you so drunk?
Don't give me a 9 laugh on a 6 joke, right? Because then I don't trust anything.
Right.
This is very true.
Gotta get home back to the kids. Get those drinks in beforehand, man.
Tom says, Thanksgiving poop. Molly can tell a story. I'm not sure which story you're talking about. There have been way too many poop stories.
Oh, my God. The Thanksgiving poop. Which Thanksgiving?
I think there was one where he tried to call me in. Like, he's like, come here. Because it smelled like Thanksgiving. And I wouldn't go in to verify it because I refused, because that's gross.
I'll take your word for it.
From a guy on his deathbed, he's pretty involved.
Then you could never enjoy Thanksgiving after that. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Ugh. And then there was one, I think it was Christmas though, where his dad came in while he was in the shower, and that was fun.
His dad pooped while he was in the shower, or pooped in the shower?
Yeah, so Tom is a classic prankster, and he will take a prank to like the next level and take like forever setting a joke up. And so he has them coming back to him. And there was one morning, and it was after, like, I think Christmas, with raw beef and onion and all the Christmas great food. Tom was taking a shower, and his dad was downstairs, and you just get this look on his face. He had the paper in his hands, and he's like, watch this. And he goes upstairs, and he goes in the bathroom. He's thinking he's going to be sitting there with his paper while, Tom gets out of the shower. It's going to be hilarious. He's sitting there. He's got the paper, and he realizes, well, Tom's going to come out. He's going to be naked. So I got to like even the score. So he pulls his pants down. He's sitting there on the toilet with his pants down, reading the paper. And then he realized he actually did have to shit.
Just occurred to him.
So Tom brushes his teeth in the shower. He went to like take and throw his toothbrush in the sink after he brushed his teeth and sees him sitting there, freaks out, scares his dad. His dad starts laughing and, actually poops. And then Tom is dying and laughing and his dad's laughing. And we're downstairs hearing all of this happening. And Tom said he was down at the drain, just trying to suck fresh air out of the drain and like gagging.
It's a Christmas miracle.
So wait, so he's standing there naked laughing while his dad's taking a shit on the toilet. That's the whole like.
No, he was still in the shower. He like went back behind the curtain and he's like, yeah.
Another Festivus miracle.
You Gentiles have some weird Christmas.
Really shits and giggles, says Jeff. Yes. Yeah, I don't tell it as good as Tom does. We know how to party,
Adam. Woo!
You guys know what you're doing.
Yeah. Sorry.
On Hanukkah, you have to shit while your son's taking a shower for 8 days in a row.
That sounds
and then you burn it.
Terrible.
It's a miracle because you only walked in expecting 1 day, and then somehow it lasts for 8 days. All right.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
What's the most ridiculous fact you know? Just a crazy fact.
I'm gonna have to narrow that down a little bit. I know that the longest word in the English language is pneumono-ultramicroscopic silico-volcaniconiosis.
Wow.
What does that mean?
It's like a black lung disease. It's obviously has nothing. The disease you get from smoking, but that's not why I know it.
Okay.
I don't have that. I know a lot of things. Like, did you know that the Secret Service was originally created for counterfeiting, and Abe Lincoln had the paperwork to create the Secret Service on his desk unsigned on the day that he died.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know a lot of like stupid stuff like that. I can also whatever. But I could fill it. All right.
We can get great trivia, partner.
What's that? Oh yeah. Like I'm trying to think of something else that's somewhat more interesting. Oh boy, this has gotten boring pretty fast. Here's an interesting little story. You guys know who Paul Lynde is?
Yeah.
You know who Paul Lynde is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Paul Lynde supposedly one time, this is a dirty story, one time walked into the dressing room of the Solid Gold dancers, and he said, "This place smells like cunt." I think. Because Paul Lynde,
he was gay.
Because he's gay. A lot of stuff like that. I can tell you.
That's great.
A lot of stuff like
Oh,
You got any others?
I do.
that. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Actually, you shared with me one of my now most useless facts, that John Wayne had a small penis. I never knew that before.
3.5 inches when erect, according to these ladies who have been with him. Big John Wayne. We just had to watch a John Wayne movie.
That is
okay.
the most useless fact in my
I
head
know.
right now.
I wish I didn't know it.
Do you know that Milton Berle supposedly
Huge
penis, right? And also Forrest Tucker.
Yep.
Right. Supposedly there's a story where Tom Jones, who was known, and he wore the tight pants, right? Supposedly there's a story where he said he and Milton Berle were in a contest about who had a bigger dick, and Milton Berle said, "Don't worry, I'll take out just enough to win."
Yep. I've heard that.
Oh no, are we losing you? Okay.
No, I'm trying to. I know all this dumb stuff, and I'm trying to come up with some version of something more interesting than anything I've said. Andrew Jackson once shot a man because he said that his wife was his fiance was cheating on her husband, which was true because they hadn't been divorced yet.
Because any donkey kicking.
The guy on the $20 bill.
Yeah, the guy on the $20 bill.
Well, not for long.
Not for long, right? Harriet Tubman's gonna be. Yeah, I heard that thing last time too, on the Jason Rowland podcast. I heard that joke. That was the joke that I really liked. That Jason even pointed out. I thought that was a great joke. I was like, that doesn't fit in this bad joke monologue. You should do that separately. Just do the bad jokes and then do a separate good joke monologue, and then don't put the bad joke monologue on the air. Just put the good joke monologue on the air.
He gave him a gets a job.
He dissected every joke.
He dissected his jokes for him. I'm like, you know how much people are paid for that?
Yeah, right.
It's an extremly valuable service that Jason.
Very valuable.
Yeah.
He was a great guest. I'm glad you saw that one.
Yeah, I was telling Molly before that I'd forgotten about the second episode. So I watched half of the first episode where you guys were just talking about the news. And I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be an interview of Jason. And then I realized halfway through that I had missed the other one. So I went back and watched the other one.
Yeah, the second hour always seems to be everybody's a little bit looser,
Yeah.
It just seems to be flow a little bit better. Now, this hour will be live, and then the second hour will be run on Wednesday night. We'll run that, so that won't be live.
So does that mean that I shouldn't say things
He's explaining while we're live.
Does that mean that I shouldn't say things that I expect you to cut out? I thought we've got.
Well, Molly, that's all up to her. So if you
okay.
want to say some things that you think might be cut out, save them for the next hour.
Or if you want to have like a major future prediction, you could really be smart.
Hey, yeah, give us one.
So,
and if it comes true on Wednesday, your stock is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, I don't really predict anything because I'm always wrong. That's pretty much.
I can't do much with the live, but I can always cut out the edited version if there's something you want me to cut.
No, I just kidding.
We did 1 hour. We did some inside jokes that we were doing, and we just kept throwing stuff up there. And Molly's just giving us these dirty looks. And she's like, I don't know how I'm going to put together an hour. I'm going to have to cut most of this out.
Like the ones I'm giving you now because you're just going over stuff we've done in past shows while we're live, William, that I can't cut.
All right, what you got next? Back to the hot seat.
How about if you're transported 400 years in the past with no clothes or anything else? How would you prove that you were from the future?
400 years in the past. So we're talking 1621, right? I guess I'm going to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I'm going to say, somebody find me Miles Standish, and I'm going to say, don't marry Priscilla. That's what I'm going to do.
So you're not going to prove that you're from the future. You're going to change the future.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. And then when they believe that I'm from the future, I'll be like, no. Now you know that I'm from the future. But go ahead and do it anyway because I don't want to fuck it up.
I mean, did Marty McFly teach you nothing?
Apparently not.
Come on.
Well, I mean, if I have to prove I'm from the future, I think the basis of the question immediately changes the past, immediately changes the future, right?
That's true. If you're proving you're from the future, that's going to change things.
It's going to change everything.
Marty did in the future was the same.
The future was never the same. I mean,
no, it wasn't. They changed the future, and they had to go back and fix it.
They had to fix it, but I think you have to just try to survive. That's.
Yeah,
proving you from the future. It's like making it to where they don't kill you.
Yeah,
or make it somewhere. They're going to ask some questions. They're probably going to think you're a witch.
Right? Are they even going to give you the chance to prove anything? You're just not going to make it out of that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I showed up in, New York in 1621. They would probably be like, what did you do to your penis? They've all got foreskin, and they'd be very, very confused about what happened to me.
And where did you get that hat?
I'm from the future. This is what we do in the future.
So you're saying I show up, I've got no clothes, but I still have the hat?
You got the hat. That's part of your persona.
Why are you giving me the hat?
Then I'm going to use the hat to cover my penis so that they don't think I'm a witch. They cut off part of it.
I think I would just show up and do a bunch of Fortnite dances to prove them from the future.
Then they'd really definitely think you were a witch.
You would be killed right
Hey,
away.
but at least they know I'm from the future at that point.
He's actually illegal alien, and he's not from Earth, so he can get himself out of a lot of situations.
All I got to do is change my skin.
Unzip the skin.
Change the skin. But that's so if I went back 400 years, no clothes, but can I bring different skins?
I think we would have to have a better understanding of your physiology to make a decision about that. Because
just show us an example once.
That's in the bonus episodes on Wednesday.
I mean, I would think that you'd be able to bring all your skins, right? Otherwise,
they're all layered. I mean, so yeah.
There you go. Then.
And they would really ask me what I did to my penis at that point.
Speaking of skins,
you're like one of those Russian dolls where
I just
all the version of
yeah, yeah.
What is
you
happening?
just get smaller each time.
I was bigger before.
Shrinkage.
Shrinkage due to skins.
What is something that everyone looks stupid doing?
Karaoke.
Yes. No, actually, some people can pull it off and make it look cool.
I feel like if you're doing karaoke and you're good enough to not be doing karaoke, you look pretty stupid doing karaoke.
I think if you're drunk, that's the good time to do karaoke.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see somebody doing karaoke that's like good at karaoke, I think if you practice this much to be good at something that nobody's going to pay attention to. I mean, that's like if I filmed my comedy special at one of those bars where they don't even know that there's a comedy show happening. If you're good enough to do karaoke, go get a record contract.
We do a Friday night open mic in Milwaukee at a karaoke bar. And we're going to have the owner as our guest one of these days. And there are people that go in there to sing karaoke, and there's comedy going on. So they're not the most attentive audiences.
Yeah.
So we got to shut them the hell up so they can listen to a little comedy. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll let you have your karaoke. And then it just mixes in after that. It works out pretty well. It's been a pretty good place. A lot of good comics are going there now, and people are going now to see comedy and then sing. So, and that's the first time I ever sang karaoke, but I get a few beers in me. I'm like, all right, I'll get up there and do a little Hootie and the Blowfish.
I was going to put you at Islands in the Stream.
No, man, the little Beatles, man, I'm enjoying it. I don't think I'm great. I'm not a great singer or whatever. I got to be drunk before I get up there, but man, do a little stand up, do a little karaoke. It's been fun.
You know what the best part of a Beatles song is, don't you? The end.
Ugh, Jesus.
Oh.
This guy we're not going to even get into his music taste.
So you're talking about like the last minute and a half of a day in the life? Because that's my favorite part of that song too. I mean, the end of a Beatles song is like at least 2.5 minutes, right? Most of them.
I just meant when it's over.
No, I understand. I got it.
Just being a Richard as he normally does.
See, I had to explain it, so it's automatically a bad joke.
Not necessarily. Sometimes people just aren't smart enough to get it.
I fucking love the Beatles, and I say that proudly.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to not like the Beatles, but liking the Beatles is not something that people are ashamed of, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know.
He's making it seem like it's a bad thing.
He's also making it seem like he's wearing 6 skins.
Well, he is.
All right, well, there you go. Now you know what.
Look, if you were here in the studio, you would be sitting next to him. He'd be elbowing you the whole hour.
That was once.
Yeah, we had one of our guests say, "Will you quit elbowing me?"
He did not say that.
You keep elbowing our guest. Knock it off. He looks very uncomfortable.
I was trying to give him a little love.
Are you performing much around town these days?
Well, you know, there's not much performing around town in New York. I mean, I'm not saying that there are not people performing. There are shows. Stand Up New York is doing shows on subways, and there are people performing outside in the cold. And we're starting to get some New York shows. But honestly, most of the time I perform, it's on the road. New York has never really found a place for me. There was one club that I was working at a lot called the Grizzly Pear in the Village. They haven't reopened since the pandemic, but I expect that once they're open again, I'll be working for them mostly. But really, I've been doing a lot of stuff out of town. I got a whole bunch of dates coming up in the Midwest in April.
Oh, nice. Really?
Yeah.
You're here?
Well, not that far. Believe me, if I was getting that far, either north, the farthest west I'm going to be is in Bradley, Illinois.
Okay.
And then, actually, that's not true. I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri, but that's way further south than you. But Bradley is sort of almost on the way up to you. I was actually looking at Wisconsin and Minnesota, but then we wound up, turned out we're going to swing back down and go into the south. So I didn't get, because I know I've been to Wisconsin and I've never been to Minnesota. I've never actually performed in either one of those states, but I know a ton of people up there, and I would love to get out there because it seems like you guys have a really good, you have a lot of comedy, and it's sort of very different up in there. And I would love to get up there, but I just haven't made an opportunity to do that.
Well, we'll try to get you down here when we get things moving around.
Heck yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
You do a lot of tours. I mean,
I think in New York, I mean, maybe I'm overlooking into it, but I think that the people don't, I think that the draw of me that is appealing to the Midwest is sort of this cartoony New York thing. And I feel like in New York, they're like, well, it's
just a guy.
That's just a guy, right?
He looks like me.
Yeah. It's like the voice, like, that's not a character, right? So I think in New York, it's just, I've never been able to necessarily, but when you get like sort of 50 miles out of New York, I do a lot of things on the Jersey Shore actually coming up because I've made some friends in Atlantic City, and some of them have started to book me out a little bit further outside of New York. But yeah, I travel a lot. I feel like it's just a better thing for me, right? Like I'll go, I've got like an 18-day thing planned in May where we're going to start in Ohio, and then, like I said, go into Illinois and Indiana, and then we've got one horrible long drive from Valpo all the way down to West Virginia overnight. That's going to be the one long one, but the gig in Valpo is cool enough that I wanted to do it. And yeah, I mean, I just, it's, people like, I have these, I sell these shirts, every comic has their merch thing, right? So like, there's like a specific, it's like a Jewish Batman thing. Can you see that? So, I feel like in New York, people are like, I'm fine, that's kid. But like you guys, if you get it, like if people in the Midwest who understand the joke, they're gonna love it. So it's like, that's more my style, is like, I think people more identify with me when they don't identify with me, right? Does that make sense?
No, I
get you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, if anyone here wants to check out my schedule, go to my website is adamtellsjokes.com. Every time I put a show, I add a show, I put it on the website. So and there's a lot more stuff coming because I had one show that I booked in West Virginia, and then I was like, I'm going to bring, I'll bring one comic with me and we'll do the show. It'll just be the two of us. It was on a Saturday night, and I was like, let me see if I can add the Friday. And everybody I called was like, well, I could do the Thursday. I could do the Tuesday. That's it. I can do the Tuesday so the next thing I know, we wound up with like a 2-week tour. And then now I'm just filling dates in. So we've got I think we have a weekend confirmed at it starts at the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and outside of Akron. And then, Midwest, and then we're going down. So check it out, adamtellsjokes.com. And it really picks up in April and May. So give it another month, and then by then I should have everything finalized.
Man, I'm telling you, you're hustling.
Yeah,
you always got something going on, though, even during the pandemic. So good for you, man. Yeah,
before I was a comedian, I've been doing comedy consistently for about 7 years. It'll be 7 years in May. I took a class and I did comedy for like 6 months. I did comedy for like 6 months back in 2002, but I pretty much have been doing comedy for 7 years. But before that, I've always been in the entertainment business. I started doing lighting and when I was in high school. So I learned very quickly that the best way to get more work is just to get to know people. It's like the entertainment business, it's hard to do. it's hard to do. I've never gotten that one. Rick Moranis. I'm going to take that as a compliment. But I guess this person has never seen two Jews before, because I think that's the only I learned that, like, no matter what you're doing, you're just going to get hired if people like you, right? Like, when you're in the army, it's like, it's merit. Like, the guy who hits the target the most amount of times is going to get the job. When you're in the entertainment business, whether you're working backstage, front of house, or on the stage, people are just going to hire who they want to hang out with. So I just try and be I just try and get to know people as much as possible and be the guy that people want to work with again. And then that way, when I call somebody up and I go, hey, I'm going to be in this place on this day, and I'm going to be in that place on that day, would love to come through. People are like, oh yeah, yes, definitely come by, because then they don't have to worry about, like, oh, I got to pay them enough to bring them out here. You know what I mean? You get the one gig where they're like, oh, and hopefully the people. Stephanie, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood, 2 shows in West Virginia. I will post the dates. Please come see. I was actually gonna message Stephanie directly and tell her to come see me, because she's a big fan. I'm a big fan of hers. Yeah, so I just be likable, and people will want to hire you.
There you go. Well, that's why I hired you. I thought you were likable, and I wanted to have you for the podcast. And I think I met you 2 years ago, I think in Indiana, when we had the finals there. Weren't you in Indiana?
No,
I wasn't at the satellites, though.
I didn't I met you I think we met in Kansas City or Boise. Boise? Were you in Boise?
Nope.
I did Phoenix.
He's that memorable, huh?
Well, no, the problem with these things is that you do so many of them. And there's always, it's like there's 50 comics and 40 of them.
You Boston as well?
I did the Boston one, but I think I knew you before. But I think we met in Phoenix. I think you do so many of these things with the same people. It's hard to remember where you met this person versus that person. Right. And the clubs they work so hard to make it so that all the experiences feel the same. Right. So it's like, they even the playing field, right? The clubs are different, but all the shows are the same. So the things that you anchor are very hard to remember. But yeah, I think we met in Phoenix, because I was there for all those shows.
And the comics too. I mean, having the different comics from all over the country and the people that you meet. And like you said, when you go on tour, I've worked with comics, if I've been in their area or if they've come to town, that I've worked with them from knowing them from this World Series of Comedy. And it's been great.
If you want, I'll give you a little. This is my story about why you should do the World Series of Comedy. So the one satellite I did in the 2020 season was JR's in LA. So I flew out. I stayed with Mike Eshak. Right, it's so cheap to fly from New York to LA. Like it was like $100 round trip. Right, and I stayed with Mike Eshak, and I went and I did the JR show on Friday night. And, I didn't get through. I had an okay set. I didn't get through. And then the next night I'm hanging out because I had a late flight on Saturday night in case I had gotten to it. I'm walking around downtown Hollywood, and there I see like a improv venue, and I look in the window, and there's Paul Green, who I met at and I go, hey, Paul, what's going on? He goes, hey, I was at the JRs. I'm killing 4 hours till my flight. He goes, oh, I got a show for you in Hollywood. I go, no shit. He goes, yeah, somebody I know I'm on the 9 o'clock show, and they just added a 7 o'clock show. So they're looking for comics, and I'll tell her. And I went over there. I showed up. I mean, I'll give you the short version of the story. Showed up. The room is packed. There's I went on. I had a 10-minute set. I made like 30 fans. I met 6 more LA comics. World Series of Comedy is definitely worth it for the networking, for sure.
Right. Well, you said Mike Eshak. We have him as a guest on the 13th of March.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, so he'll be, and then we have Drew and Aurora Schaefer next week. We've had Jason Rowland. Joe Lowers is scheduled for April. So I mean, I've got a lot of people from there. Ira Summer, and also, Ethan Hershenfeld.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's in New York, an actor too.
What's funny about Ethan is that he and I have been in New York doing comedy together for years, and I didn't meet him until the Boston satellite for the World Series of Comedy. I mean, the crazy thing about that is that it's like you're surrounded by so many people, you kind of forget, or I forgot, that just just qualifying.
Right.
You know, like I was in the top 101 last year and I had an okay set in Las Vegas. I know it sounds like I only have okay sets. For the record, the first show I did for the World Series of Comedy, I won that one. So that I established that. But anyway, that was a wild card show. I won that wild card show. But like you forget that everybody involved, everybody you meet is a good comic just by being involved. There's 600 people who apply for this thing. So the 100 who get through, there, you know, that's like if there were 60 who applied and you did 10. I mean, you'd feel good if you were one of 10 out of 60. So to feel like 1 out of 100. So everybody that you're talking about is, you know, they're going to be a hoot. And, you know, we've all sort of learned various versions of kind of the same thing, which is how to be successful as a comic that nobody's ever heard of.
Right. Well, I think it's been a great experience. Are you doing it this year?
I'm not doing it this year. I may do the main event. I looked at the list of satellites. There was the ones that I wanted to do were conflicting with some things that I've already booked. Okay. And then there was a couple that were available. The one thing that's becoming sort of cost prohibitive to me is the actual travel. Like some of them are super cheap. Like for me to get to Boston, I went on a Chinatown bus and that was a round trip for $30. So that one I would do, but like, it's not cheap for me to fly out to Portland, which is the one that I would really want to do. So I may do the main event depending on where they're going to have it. But the other thing is like, I feel like, you know, the people involved have kind of seen what I'm doing right now. And I'd like to give it a little bit of time to sort of work. You know, that's the nice thing about comedy is you're always getting better, right? You're always better than you were the day before. So if I gave them a little bit of an opportunity to see the improvements between 2019 and 2020, I'd rather give them a little bit more. It's been so hard to get consistency these days. I mean, one of the things that I miss about not having a regular place to perform is that I feel like, you know, if you're doing a 10-minute set at a place you're not comfortable at, the first couple minutes are kind of wasted. You're like feeling your way out and you're like, oh, that joke, the sound in this room is not good for that joke or whatever the thing is. When you're at the same place time after time after time, you can really work on a set and go, this is how this works. And I feel really good that this set works this way. And I don't know, it's like I'm a little bit, you know, off my game lately, I would say, just as far as consistency goes. So I'm trying to give those people a little bit of time before they see me again.
Right. Well, I think everybody's a little off the game if they're not performing regularly. It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
I mean that the stage time is the most important thing. So, I mean, even if it's like, I know some people that think, oh, I'm not going to go to some open mic and sit through. Why not? Why wouldn't you go there and get on stage? You think you're too good to do an open mic? Come on. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. Stage time is stage time. And then you meet other people, you network with other people. I mean, I enjoy that part of it as well. I mean, so, and sometimes the rooms are rough. It's giving you experience in dealing with a rough crowd. I mean, everything's not going to be perfect. I mean, you know, by going on the road, how tough sometimes things can be, and learning how to read a crowd and knowing what material to throw out before you step on that stage. You know, I mean, I tried to last year for the main event, I tried to do a lot of different material because I like getting a clip from each one of those satellites.
Yeah.
That I'm going to put them together on a website, and it's on different stages, like Phoenix, Boston, all these different cities. And I mean, it's just like, I enjoy, it's going to help me to get more work at other festivals and things like that. Right now, there's not much else going on.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when you do that, you have to be able to say to the bookers, I'm going to bring you my best, right? I'm going to bring, and not to say that you can't do different jokes, but you have to be in the rhythm of your best as a performer, whether the joke itself, and the inconsistency is very, it's between Zoom and, you know, and then, you know, you do 30 minutes in one stage in the Midwest. That's not the same as doing a 10-minute set. It's just not. right? Because you're kind of like, if you get off to a little bit of a slow start, or you kind of ramble or whatever, if you're going to do the 7-8 minutes that they want, or if I'm going to do the 7-8 minutes that they want, I want to know that that's the tightest it could be. And, you know, I watched my video from the main event, and I was like, I wasn't at my best. And I was not just disappointed that I had gotten not the best video, but I was like, oh, I can't believe this is what I showed to those people. Whereas the year before, in 2019, by the time I got to the main event, I knew exactly what I was doing. And every single booker in that room wanted to work with me after that. So I'm probably going to, unless things pick up, and also I'm going to see where the main event is this year. That's what's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's coming out pretty soon where it's going to be.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind going back to Vegas, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
you were in St. Louis as well, right?
I was in St. Louis.
Did you go and look for that open mic that they had with the high stage? I think you were there that night.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in St. Louis because I've worked with a couple different comics I've worked with some people in Springfield, Missouri a couple times, and another festival. The guy who runs the Hoboken Comedy Festival and the Make Me Laugh Festival so I won the Make Me Laugh Albany Festival years ago. It was a small contest, and part of that was winning touring work. So he brought me out to St. Louis, where he also runs a Make Me Laugh festival. His name is Dan Frigolette. So I knew a bunch of comics. So when I heard that they were doing the main event in St. Louis, I called everybody I knew, and I had my main event show on Wednesday. Then I had a show at a spot at the Showcase on the Funny Bone Wednesday after that, and then I had 2 shows on Thursday, and then I had 2 shows on Saturday. So for me, I was just running around. I actually St. Louis is great. I love St. Louis. And I was
offered a gig there too, but I was leaving, and the guy said, "You want to work? This is a paid gig." So I offered it to John Wynn, and I recommended him, so he did the gig. That's nice.
What was that gig? No, I know John Wynn. John Wynn is the guy with he's got the Vietnam Memorial joke.
The Vietnam Memorial, right. I don't remember the guy. The guy contacted me. I think he came up to me and said, "Yeah, would you like to do?" And I'm like, "I'm leaving town." Because I didn't have any vacation left, and I didn't stay for the whole thing.
Yeah, I had I drove out there with Joe Mahoney, so we were there for the whole week.
Oh, Joe.
And then on Monday, just to sort of get my reps in, on Monday I went to an open mic, but I got there before everybody else, so I was like up third in front of a real audience, and then all the rest of the comics showed up, and they were just performing for themselves. And then on the Tuesday, I went to that the Funny Bone, and I got on that open mic too. So I wound up the week that we were in St. Louis, I think I had 6 additional shows, and one of them was a headlining spot at like this improv room called the Improv Shop.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend. I liked the Las Vegas event last year, but Las Vegas is expensive, right? And it's like.
It was cheap then that week.
It was cheap. The hotels were cheap. One of the reasons I went was because the hotel and the flights, it was all cheap. But then you go out, and it's like still costs a lot of money to go out, right? You know what I mean? Like that was the one thing that I like Vegas. I had a good time for sure.
Well, also, that's a small room to begin with, and it's social distancing. It was even less people, and then we could only see the end of the person in front of us before we stepped on stage, and then we had to go. We had to leave. That's how it was the night I went up.
Yeah, I mean, it was really uncomfortable to sort of not know what the audience was doing. It's like in that situation, you want to know, especially if you're in the second half of the show, you kind of want to know, did anybody else do a joke that was in the same vein as mine, right? Like maybe I'm not going to do that joke. I'll switch it up to another joke because somebody has something similar, or, I like to feel the room. I like to see that the audience is laughing at things that are, in the same mindset, not the same joke, but in a way that I feel like they'll understand who I am. And I mean, I watched my set. I felt good during the show, but I watched my set recently, and I kind of understood. But I was just off my game. Like I felt very uncomfortable. So I think to me, it's almost going to matter more about what else is going on. I mean, the nice thing about the World Series is if the main event is in the end of September or the second half of September, you don't really need to make a decision until the beginning of August. Right. And then I'll have a better idea of where I'm at. I would hate to show up to that thing and show the same bookers the same kind of like kind of performance.
Well, write a whole new set.
No, I mean, for me, it's not even about that.
The way that you felt, you didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
that's how I felt in St. Louis. I thought the Vegas thing felt okay. I think I've done better, but St. Louis, I felt completely uncomfortable. Like you said, I just did not feel good. My mouth went dry, and I knew things were not going well. That's a sign for me. When my mouth goes dry, it's like,
yeah.
Oh, here, Tom's got a question. It says, ever get like what I got? You show up, then they say no swearing, only marriage material, and kid friendly hour before the show.
Oh, it's happened to me. Yeah. Well, I did a Valentine's show, and I'm getting ready to go up, and they told me 15 minutes. I was hosting. The first time I hosted in this club, the owner leans in. He goes, "This is couples. No cussing, 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm walking up, I've got to cut 5 minutes, and I got to make sure that I don't cuss."
For me, that's not really. I mean, that's sort of my whole. That's kind of
pretty family friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of drug jokes, but I'll just cut them out. Sometimes I say fuck, but I can cut it out. I mean, it's not part of the joke, you know.
So you could say fuck without even saying fuck.
I can say
voice.
Right. I mean, you know, family friendly, you're probably not hiring me anyway because I tend to scare little children. But if you want me to do jokes, I mean, my jokes are about, you know, I mean, you see my act. Most of my jokes are about jokes, right?
I like the backpack. That's one of my favorites.
Thank you. You know, and and that's most of what, I mean, look, I write dirty jokes. My favorite joke that I just wrote was, I was at the sperm bank. I asked the receptionist if there was a release form. She said, most guys just do it sitting up. But even that's not even really like that. I mean, there's nothing in that that's not right. Like that's the kind of dirty joke that I write. But then again, I'll just do backpack jokes. You know, I can just do that, or jokes about jokes, or jokes about living in Brooklyn, or Jewish Batman, or you know whatever. I mean, I have a joke about one time I threw up in my car, and all I had with me was a 1-gallon Ziploc freezer bag.
Oh no!
Yeah, I filled that thing up all the way, and there were no leaks. Right, so naturally, I'm thinking that Ziploc is missing a huge advertising opportunity. So, I mean, there's more to that bit, but you get what the joke is about, right?
That's you know what? You can throw it right in the freezer.
Well, my joke actually swings up away from it doesn't. But anyway, but the thing that is like to me that's a clean joke. I did that joke at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida. I got about 2 sentences in, and this woman goes, "We're eating."
Well,
yeah, I mean, like it's a clean joke.
But they don't want to hear about throwing up.
Obviously, so that's what I'm saying is like I'm far more likely to have the audience tell me that they don't like my subject matter than that the host.
Did you go on with the joke though, or did you just?
I think that
fuck me then.
I think that what happened was I said I threw up in my car, and she goes, "Ugh," right, and then I kept going, and when I got to the end of the part, then she goes, "We're eating," and I was like, "All right, I can take a hint." Oh, what's great about it is that
it's great for to go.
Right, exactly. That's it. You're right. We'll put that joke in a doggy bag. That's what's great about that is that now when I do the joke, I then follow it up with that story about how the woman who
gave you a new material.
She gave me a whole new material. So I mean, like, yeah, that happens to me all the time where I have to change. I have to pivot.
So Tom's story was he got hired for actually. Coldwell Banker, Roy and his wife had their 50th anniversary party, and they asked a comic friend of ours and Tom they wanted Tom to come and do a set as well, even though he's not really done much stand-up, but they wanted to have him talk. And so we had this whole set lined up, but it wasn't clean. It was knowing Roy and knowing, his humor. He was like, "I'll do this. It'll be great." But he'd never met Roy's wife. And we got there and we're setting up and doing everything. And they come up and they're like, "All right, well, keep it just marriage material and keep it clean." And I was like, "What? Oh, shit."
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I mean, I watch the podcast. I watch your show. I wouldn't. I mean, in 5 minutes. It's like you can't ask that guy to be clean. That's not even his jam. Like, not that he couldn't do it. Why would you? It's obviously not what he thinks is funny. So why would you ask him? I don't know.
Yeah, he can. I mean, but he went into it with the assumption based off of knowing Roy, right, not having ever met his wife, and knowing, sometimes opposites attract. And she didn't want dirty comedy, and they didn't tell him ahead of time.
So you're going to stick around with us for another hour, Adam?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Lampton says he almost got arrested because of last-minute changes to the material contracts.
Oh, Jeff Lampton that's a guy that has a hard time muzzling himself. He's very talented, but he's done things that they told him not to do many times. I don't think he's done it on purpose. Maybe he has. I don't know. He's a blast to hang out with, but he's gotten himself fired a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, it's so easy to get an audience to turn on you for nothing. It's so easy. Like, if you tell one joke that's not even offensive, but they just don't, even if it's the exact opposite of offensive, even if it's so banal that it's not funny, the audience will go, "Oh, now you suck. You're done. You're out of good jokes.
Right.
You just did 8 great minutes, but that one joke, so you're clearly out of jokes.
They turn
Get off the stage." It's not hard to get fired as a comedian. It's hard to get rehired as a comedian.
All right.
Okay, how are we on time?
Well, we're just a little over an hour.
Okay, so we will be back. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back, and we'll do an hour that we'll show on Wednesday. So we're going to go use the restroom and everything like that. But hey, thank you so much for doing this. You're very interesting. This has been a lot of fun. And what do we say?
Well, where can we find you again? I know I've got the website link up. Where are you going to be coming up?
Performing?
All right, so again, this is you got the website up. These are all my socials. It's all on there. But if you go to adamtellsjokes.com, you can just click on the social that you follow, and you'll follow me. I'm gonna try and remember as much of it as I can. In beginning of April, I'll be in Springfield, Missouri, and then at the end of April into May, I'm gonna be in Colorado Springs and then Denver, and then May 13th through 15th. I'm doing a weekend featuring at the Funny Stop in Ohio. And then after that, it's going to sort of be Indiana, Illinois, West Virginia, the Carolinas, stuff like that. I'm always adding dates. If you're coming to Atlantic City and you want to see me, let me know. I got some friends who run a show out there. So if there are people who want to come see me, sometimes I can, I can coordinate that. That's right here. Oh yeah, that's my website. And right there. And that's a fantastic photo that was taken by my friend Trace Thomas in Oklahoma City. Check me out.
Great picture. I like it.
Oh, thanks.
Adam, my oldest son lives in North Carolina. He's in Durham. So if you're in that area, let me know, and I'll have him come out and see you.
That would be great. We've got right now. We got 2. We're talking to some people. We've got a couple dates in South Carolina, and then we're heading up. So we're trying to get some stuff going on. And it's, what it's like. It's like you get a bunch of dates and then you have to connect all the dots. So that's what we're working on. But I'll definitely be posting my dates once it's all complete.
All right.
Sounds
Molly,
good.
don't you have something to do? Like and share?
Oh.
Forgot the like and share.
I'm doing a little bit of everything else.
Look at that.
And share and remember.
Well, if you can,
not good enough.
You can remember to do that if you could turn back time.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks so much.
Oop.